Greetings all, welcome again to Chuke's Outdoor Adventures. Well, today everybody wants to be a keyboard commando. I can't tell you how many comments I've got. People calling me a liar, oh that would never kill a bear and you're an idiot for carrying that. So I wanted to go through a few of the rifles and talk about actual bears that I've harvested and dispatched, and then at the end I'm going to talk about some of the pistols and the ammunition on the rifle and the pistols that I've used to dispatch wounded bears and what my thoughts are. Now, there's a lot of outdoorsmen that have done more hunting than me, and I've interviewed a lot of people and I've gotten good feedback. So I'm really interested in the subject, but definitely chime in the comments what you think. So let's just jump into it. The first black bear that I ever harvested, and I do eat bear, except for the ones that have been eating salmon on the river in the fall. Those are disgusting. The meat just tastes like rotten salmon, and it's you don't really harvest much of the meat of that, and that's, you know, I would keep the hide and the skull and the claws. But a spring bear I do eat, and I even ate a brown bear, and people are surprised by this, but it was a spring brown bear, and the meat was grated. To me, it tasted very similar to black bear. Black bear to me tastes like pork, wild pork mixed with elk, maybe, shreds apart like pork. You just got to make sure you cook it really well done. You don't want to eat rare bear meat. Bear meat can make you really sick. Anyways, let's jump into it. The first black bear I ever harvested was with a 1943 M1 Garand in 30-06, and it's not the greatest ammo. I had Hornady 168 grain ELD ammunition that's made for the M1 Garand, so not the greatest hunting ammo. Chuck isn't a fan, but I will say it dispatched the black bear. It ran about 40 yards and collapsed and bled out pretty quickly. So it worked great for me. It was at pretty close range, probably 30 yards. So that was the first bear, and really interesting. The M1 Garand. I had it sporterized, so it was kind of a awful thing. I probably wouldn't sporterize an M1 Garand again. I would keep it with the ghost ring and just the regular sights, but that peep sight or whatever. But it was a fun rifle, and I did take several caribou with that rifle too, and surprisingly it was even sporterized with the scout scope on it. It was one of the most accurate hunting rifles I've ever had. So really interesting. But that was the first black bear. The second black bear I took was with a 270 Winchester. Now I had a Remington 700 mountain rifle, and it had this pencil barrel. It was from the 90s. The barrel was almost shot out. It was still accurate enough, but it had that old trigger where half the time I would just rack around and it would fire, and it was just a real dangerous rifle. But anyways, I used 130 grain Nosler partition, took the black bear from about 130 yards, and I can't say enough about the 270 Winchester. That's kind of my to-go for caribou and black bear. You know, medium-sized, large game. It would even work on very big, large game, but that's what I used. So my first grizzly bear, this is a really cool rifle. I took it with a 300 Psalm, 300 short action ultra mag. I had an AR-10. It was a DPMS AR-10. They didn't make too many of these. I wish I still had it. And I used 180 grain Nosler partitions. Now I shot this brown bear from about 40 yards away, and I shot it cleanly in the side, right in the vitals, and it spun around growling and snarling, trying to bite at itself, and it ran about 20 yards away and collapsed. This was at midnight, and the sun was just going down here in Alaska, and I was too terrified to go after it that night, so I waited till early the next morning, and clear blood trail. It had bled out very quickly. I cannot say enough about the 300 short action ultra mag. The ammunition was very hard to find for it. Thankfully, they got it in, and they ordered some at Three Bears for me, and that was a wonderful AR-10. I wish I still had it, but for brown bear, I would suggest, you know, 300 Win Mag, 338. Chuck shot a brown bear in the face with a 338 Ruger rifle at 80 yards, and it just instantly collapsed dead. It was coming down a trail right at him, but kind of a cool story. And this last black bear I got was with the Marlin Trapper 4570. It was the 1895 model, and I cannot say enough about the 4570 lever action rifle. I want to get one of the new Ruger made ones, but worked great. 4570 is great even for brown bear. I have harvested brown bears with a 4570. So especially for defensive purposes, you're on a river or something on a trail, 4570 lever action just can't be beat. So as far as pistols, this is pretty interesting. I've dispatched 2 wounded black bears. So that one with the 270 Winchester I shot, it crawled off. Oh, no, that one died right away. The one I shot with the 4570 crawled off about 100 yards. It was a tough black bear, and I followed it, the blood trail, you know, right away, and I had my Glock 20 with extreme penetrators in it. I came upon it, was still, you know, it couldn't move its back legs, but it was still trying to crawl. I shot it in the head with that 10 millimeter, and it was like it didn't even phase it. The second shot killed it instantly. So it was very interesting. Twice that's happened to me with a 10 millimeter. So there you go. Rifle is definitely better than a pistol. A pistol we just use because it's lighter. On my fishing trips, I'm not going to carry a 12 gauge with me because I tend to set it down or it gets too heavy. So I tend to keep a 10 millimeter on my chest or some semi-auto. So that happened. And then I will note that I watched Chuck kill a black bear with his 7mm Magnum. Now, he had the TSSX from Barnes ammo, and at 170 yards, it just went right through the black bear. It didn't open up. He thinks it's good for maybe closer up, but not for far out like that. I think it was from a couple hundred yards away. And anyways, he shot it like 7 times. I was standing there watching him screaming, shoot it again, it's not doing it. It was just like a laser making those little holes through it. So it crawled off 150 yards. We followed the blood trail. Chuck is colorblind, so I had to follow the blood trail and point where to go. Anyways, we got to it. It was still alive. He pulls out his 45 Super, this Glock 21. He had a Lone Wolf 45 Super barrel in it, and he had extreme penetrators, and it took 2 shots. Once again, the first shot in the head looked like it didn't even phase the bear. It was still kicking around. The second shot instantly put it down. So that's 3 times I've seen extreme penetrators at close range shoot a bear in the head, and it's still kicking. So it took 2 shots. So it just kind of tells you that it's going to take more than 1 shot probably to put a bear down. Let me know what you guys think, what calibers and rifles and pistols you have used to dispatch bears. I'm really interested in the subject, and this coming year I will be hunting black bear with a 280 Ackley improved. Very excited about that round. So thanks for tuning in. I will have a new video up tomorrow morning, and it's Chuke, your friend in the field.
My name is Chuke. I like to trade my guns just for fun, but now I have none. Oh, look, get shot by a bear, but I don't care. I got a 10mm. Chuke's Outdoor Adventures. Watch you go side.